Happy Wednesday and happy birthday to me. That's right, Pastor Nat is 40 today, but I'm feeling great and excited to be with you. And today, we are going to win the day together. As you know, I am here to help you stay spiritually fit, and that is why today we are going to talk about the importance of accountability. Don't be a tattletale. Do you remember hearing that while growing up? My youngest son, he sometimes likes to keep the law, but other times, he just likes getting his brothers in trouble. In fact, I know many times I have heard, "Hey, Dad, guess what? Guess what so-and-so just did?" Now, whenever that happens, as a parent, I'm trying to decipher what's the motivation. But here's the thing I've discovered. Being a tattletale, that's all about me. It's often calling out an action to benefit me. But when the motivation is right, when done in love, accountability, that calling out, it's actually what a Christian should do. What do I mean? Listen to what Paul has to say in Ephesians chapter 5. "For once you were full of darkness, but now you have light from the Lord. So live as people of light. For this light within you produces only what is good and right and true. Carefully determine what pleases the Lord. Take no part in the worthless deeds of evil and darkness. Instead, expose them. It is shameful even to talk about those things that the ungodly people do in secret. But their evil intentions will be exposed when the light shines on them. For the light makes everything visible. This is why it is said, 'Awake, O sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will give you light.'" Paul will continually contrast life before and after our salvation. He would say in Colossians and in Romans how we were once enemies of God, but now we are reconciled to God. We are now children of God. Paul would say that we were slaves to sin, but now we are slaves to God. Paul would say we were once dead in sin, but now we are alive with Christ. And now Paul says we were once children of darkness, but now we are children of light. You see, God doesn't just provide us a ticket to heaven. That's not what He offers through Jesus. He provides so much more, a new life in the light. That's why Paul says, you are a child of light. So live like it. You today are a child of the King of the universe. We don't have to live like paupers. We get to live like princes and princesses. We are free and we are alive. Let's live like it. How can we know how to live? It's by looking at God's Word. By coming back to the Bible like you are today. Allowing God to provide light to your path. But notice what Paul says. He says we are also to expose the worthless evil deeds. We aren't just called to avoid evil, but we are to call it out and expose it. We are supposed to expose what we see. Often we hear about tolerance, but so often what we tolerate is what we promote. Paul here uses a word that also means to correct. It means to discipline. It's not just to call out or to expose. No, it's to correct. You see, this is a lot to take in, isn't it? Knowing how to live and to call out sin and to correct it, it's a lot to navigate. So I think we need to wrestle with the question, what should our response be? How should we live? Well, my challenge for you today is to first examine yourself. How are you doing as living as a child of light? Or are you actually living as a child of darkness? Are you participating in sin? So evaluate yourself But then I want you to ask another question. How are you doing in calling out the sin of other people? Now, Paul here was pointing to exposing sin in the Christian community. Chances are you've struggled with this. Have you had a hard time confronting people because of their sin in your Christian community? You didn't want to do it because you didn't want to hurt a relationship or even be called out on your own sin. Paul says, as a Christian, when you truly love someone, you're not going to tolerate their sin, you're going to expose it. This happens in yourself and then in others. Take this challenge today. Live as a child of light. It won't be easy, but I promise you, it will provide the freedom that you need and you desire.